5% of the town, and the tax base we pay is about 10%. That's just an FYI. I'm here tonight because of the job that just got done yesterday on the grade controls. I went down and looked at it. Jim Bennett and his crew and Dave Cloutier, VHB, they did an excellent job on it. They brought in extra boulders, crushed stone, and from what I see, it's they really fortified it a lot better. So I'm hoping that it'll be good for years to come. And eventually, probably the main problem is in the spring when the ice melts and you get the like backflow from water coming back in, it shifted things around. There was probably underpinning or whatever that knocked down part of one of the rows. So I think with the work they did, it's really going to help prevent that. And a couple of years down the road when the dam's removed, I think, and we never get the backflow again, that's really going to probably be a savior too. So just on behalf of all our association members and everyone in the watershed, we would like to thank you for doing the project.
Thank you for coming in. We
Sure.
definitely hear the complaints when there's complaints. So
I was coming either way,
this
but
side as well.
but since the project was done yesterday, I switched my script, so it was a positive instead of what else it might have been. So thank you very much.
Who's next? Mr. Penfold.
Bill Penfold, Oxford Auto Salvage. I was at the town meeting and I see a bunch of stuff that's approved for the fire department and stuff. And I see our budgets growing and growing and growing, which is gonna make the taxes have to go up. Well, you know, we're buying some of these vehicles that have Z71 packages, leather interior, heated seats and all of this. Why can't we put these are work vehicles. These are not comfort vehicles. Why can't we cut some of our costs that way? Is, you know, we got to start trimming these budgets somewhere before we get taxed. Everybody gets taxed out. There's no reason for somebody to have, you know, the fire chief's truck. That's a $90,000 truck. You can buy the same truck to do work in for 40 grand. I mean, I think we ought to start looking at all the vehicles that we're buying and what are we buying, because who goes and looks at what they're speccing out? You look at it, a piece of paper, and this is what they want. But is that best for the town? And is that our best way to spend our money? And I'm coming to you guys so that you can overlook this and go, we don't need Z71 hot rod packages to ride around for the fires. We don't need leather seats. We don't need all of this extras. Cloth seats, heater and an air conditioner. You pretty much got what you need for a work truck. So I'm asking you as the selectman to help trim the budget so it saves our taxes.
Next. Anybody else? Mr.
Conrad, Staples Ave. Wonder if you guys can get in touch with Mr. Fournier to remark these intersections again. Main and Pottle, Weber Brook Road and Pottle, especially this end here. Also trying to look at maybe doing some tree trimming on Cold Auto Brook Road by the Noble Farm. Had I had my pickup truck with a blade on it, it would have been a car that would have been nothing but a matchbox. Because coming on somebody else's on my side of the road, we come around that corner. I know that's wetland area, but maybe we can try to trim down some trees, try to be able to see around that corner. And the other thing is that just looking for a status update on the tree out here. I see you guys got next step further with a Hunter orange tape around it, so I didn't know where you guys stood to that. And I know a lot of people have said that they can actually see the town office a lot better now since you guys done that. So
I believe that tree's supposed to go this month.
thank you guys, appreciate it.
Ms. Reiner, I was coming to the meeting tonight and I see there's a tree on Cohart Road there's a tree hanging over the road. Somebody put some stakes up just to, point it out to us, but it's hanging over the road.
You know if that's just from today or? is it
Yes,
been-
it's from today. It was,
I think there's several trees
Okay.
hanging in lots of
I'm
places
sure.
right now.
I'm sure they are.
Say call right?
Yes.
Anybody else? Seeing none? Business item 5.1 appointments. We have an appointment application for Patricia Larrabee for the Preservation Committee and the Appeals Board, so 2. And 1 for Jonathan Tibbetts for the Budget Committee. Do I hear a motion?
I have a motion to put both of them on.
Second, any discussion? Question I have is on Mr. Tibbetts, if he, I know he's been on just as long as he hasn't been on longer than.
This is his last go.
Okay. Anything else? All those in favor? Our 5th selectman is on Teams online, so we have a little bit of a delay. 5.2, review and approve treasurer's disbursement policies, main state fees and payroll. It's pretty cut and dry, I don't know if you want to explain it or everybody's good. Everybody's good, I'll take a motion.
Motion accept.
Second. Discussion? Questions? Bill? All those in favor? Vote. 5.3, review award bid for town surplus 2016 Chevy 3500.
So we put the 2016 Chevy 3500 on municipal. The highest bidder is $12,100. So if the board's comfortable with awarding that, we can move forward with.
Motion to accept the
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor? Vote.
Yes, in the event, if that high bidder falls through for some reason, are you okay with the manager going to the next highest bidder, which is 12,000?
That's in the motion.
It was? Okay.
bid. It was,
That was the intent.
it was in the note, I knew that.
5.4, fee discussion demolition permit, shoreland zoning tree removal request application.
So, couple of requests from code enforcement officer and the assessing agent have been part of this discussion as well. We have a demolition permit, so obviously if somebody's gonna demo a building, they need to fill out the demolition permit. What the purpose of this permit is to allow us to track it for assessing purposes so that we know what is there, what, what's been removed and so forth. The suggestion is adding a $10 processing, fee for that permit, which we have on some others. And then the tree removal request for shoreland zoning, the suggestion is a $20,000 fee for that, $20 fee, excuse me, $20 fee, for that. So the code enforcement can track it. Just seeing if everybody's paying attention out there, that's all. So I've got code enforcement and assessor both here, if you guys would like to talk to them about why they came up with these fees and so forth.
So we haven't had any in the past?
So historically, no, there's been no fee for either one of these permits.
So do you want to explain, Shane, why you feel there should be a fee, as you told me?
Sure. So understand this is not, this is more of a cost recovery effort as opposed to revenue generation. With respect to the tree removal, a lot goes into that. For an example, I had 3 requests that I went out and did site evals on this morning. By the time I was done with the site eval, which requires taking measurements, taking photographs of the surrounding area, coming back to the office, doing whatever research I need to do, and then responding to those permits, 4 hours goes by. It's very time consuming. Now, that was for 3 of them. I don't know, not often do I get 3 to do bam, 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 but occasionally it happens. With a demo permit, having a little bit of work goes into it, not quite as much. But the other aspect of having the fees is that it prohibits after the fact application. In other words, many times we catch people doing stuff like removing a trailer, and there's no mechanism in place to deter that. For example, with a building permit, a building permit can be assessed, we can assess 5 times the building permit fee for work that's begun prior to a building permit being issued. And my hope is the same would happen with demo permits and with tree removal. With tree removal, if someone cuts trees down and the nosy neighbors get involved, which happens a lot in these shoreline zoning areas, the state gets involved, and then the state is calling me or the town manager wondering why we're not enforcing our shoreline zoning ordinances. With demo permits, if we don't know that a mobile home has been moved out of town, we can't evaluate whether or not the taxes are paid in full on that trailer before it was moved. Or someone could be assessed for that home and still be billed as far as taxes are concerned for that property that's no longer in town. So it's our way of tracking the movement of mobile homes as far as demo permit. It's tracking whether or not, if someone has a garage they tore down and they don't want to be we don't want to assess them or tax them for that. That's our way of tracking what goes up and what comes down in town. Same with tree removal, it's our way of tracking what's being cut. Because there's a lot of factors that go into removing trees in shoreline, especially within the 100-foot shoreline zone buffer. And today, every one of the trees but one that I looked at were all within 100 feet. So it's a big time-consuming endeavor, but it has to be done.
If I could speak to the demo permit piece as far as the assessing agent, I do more work probably with that than what the code enforcement officer does as far as once it's issued, the follow-up then falls into not only him to make sure that they have demoed whatever they're going to. When it comes to mobile homes, that if they are removing a mobile home, that we are verifying it's been removed before they place one on the pad or where one's been, which has happened several times in the town. And so we've been assessing a much older mobile home, and then there's a newer one there, so our assessment's been off. But also it entails not only updating our assessing system, we have to update our TRIO system, which is the front part of the tax piece. So there's a lot of input, data entry, and assessing that has to go in when you're removing and updating info. And I did look at Norway and Paris, and they've been charging for demo permits longer than they could remember. Norway charges $25 and Paris charges $20. So I thought $10 really to just cover the physical inspection and the data entry really wasn't going to be too much for anybody that wanted to do any demo.
Questions, comments from the board? Seeing none, anything, Phil? Can I get a motion one way or the other? Individually or together?
Make a motion with the $10 process for demo. I'm not 100% sold on the tree removal one, but when you do that one.
Second, on demo,
I'll second the demo.
any further discussion on the demo permit? All those in favor? To vote. Processing fee for shoreline zoning tree removal request, so I have a question. A tree removal, if it's within the, is it 100 feet,
Mhm.
they have to do a permit request?
Yes.
Outside of the 100 feet, they don't need a permit?
That's no, technically no. If they're taking down just one tree outside, no. Anything more than that,
I think my concern would be that charging them a fee, is there gonna be reluctance to even get the permit if they know they have to pay a fee, or they're just gonna do it without the permit at all? And I know that creates a whole other problem for them. I don't know enough about it to, I don't know if anybody else has any other questions.
My thought was nobody else has to pay it, so, I mean, I get that it's time consuming for you, and I get that having lived on the water, there is enough for people to live on waterfront property as it, when it comes to regulation as it is, and I don't know. I would say that, yes, it took you 4 hours, but the performance of your job description, so.
and that also entails stream protection too, it's not just shoreline.
Would you say, Shane?
So shorelands is, if we're talking about like the lakes,
Right.
ponds, we're 100 feet. With stream protection, it's 75 feet. It's even shorter.
Street or stream?
Stream protection. There are cases we have very limited resource protection areas in town. Caldwell Lane is a good example. Any tree removal on Caldwell Lane where there's a 250-foot setback, it's more restrictive as opposed to limited residential where it's 100 feet. Caldwell Lane's a good example of anywhere. I don't think you can get 250 feet anywhere in Caldwell Lane from the water. So any tree that comes down in Caldwell Lane has to go through a review process, which begins with a tree removal request. Permit, yes.
Any idea how many tree removal requests you get in the year? I know you haven't been doing this the whole year, so. I think I'd like to see a number before but that's just me. So, again, I entertain a motion if anybody wants to make one.
Well, I mean, table it and then you can get you, try to come up with a number for us for our next meeting.
Would you like to know how many trees or how many permits? Because you only need to have one permit if you're doing 4 or 5 trees in one shot.
Permits.
Okay.
Table.
Make a motion, we table it.
All in favor? Homework. Five, review approve American Dream Restaurant LLC doing business as Pizza Hut liquor license renewal. So beer only license.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, any discussion? I have a question, were they or were they not on that tax list?
They're up to date.
All those in favor? Vote. 5, sewer connection discussion.
So Phil was the driving force behind this one. We asked if he'd like to table it or would he like to
try to get through this. We can hear you, but it's broken, so we'll table till next meeting.
I'm good.
Department head. Z? Right in the back.
Well, we are working on maintaining some equipment right now, especially while it's warm. We're going to mount back the gearbox for one of the screens. Other than that, like everything is normal, like we don't have any violations or anything, so. Regular work.
Questions from the board? Pretty straightforward. Thank you, Z. Town manager updates.
Sure. Just a couple of quick items. The Wellsville Dam grade controls are done, as was mentioned a little earlier, the repairs. Road work on East Oxford Road the East Oxford Road is gonna be closed from July 20th, August 3rd. Sorry for the inconvenience, so it should be marked out, pretty good with the detour for over there. Also, all the other culverts are being worked on, but there's no road closures for that. Annual audit, we're already starting the annual audit. The auditors themselves will be physically in the building next week for the entire week, reviewing records and so forth. Pretty excited to have them here so early. It's convenient. The mini pumper was delivered today, so it's getting worked towards getting into service. The comprehensive plan, I did a thing on Facebook today as a reminder. We've had a few applicants for the comp plan, but still need a couple more if we want to have a good working committee. So if anybody knows anybody, please look on the website at the comp plan committee. It's that'd be exciting to have another face or two on there. For this last town meeting, we talked about the marijuana licensing and that ordinance. We also talked about putting on a cap potentially. So I'm just checking in with the board. Is the board still of the mind to do you want a referendum question in November for capping the number of businesses? And if you still want that to happen, I'm going to work with the attorney to draft up language and a ballot and all of that stuff for November. Is that still the intention on the side of things, or?
I would. I have more residents talking about wanting a cap and getting more and more frustrated every day about it. I think we have 17 licenses out currently. So I would personally, but.
How would we, I mean, it really can't affect, so we're just gonna say we're not gonna have more than 17, I mean, I'd like to hear what the draft was, Troy.
So, yeah, if we're going to put it to referendum, which I'm not opposed, we've done it before. We need to draft the language and what that limit's gonna be.
I mean, I'd
So
like to
what
know
do we have for a
that
timeline
before
that
I
we
said
can do
the,
that?
I mean,
If this is the plan, I've already scheduled a meeting with the attorney for Monday of next week. So he and I can take some of the proposed language that we've already got and start getting some samples together for you guys so that you can see a couple of different options.
So next meeting, August 6th, that gives you time enough if we go August 6th to go forward with, come up with a language and.
It should, yeah, the acting town clerk is going to also be providing me the drop dead date on when that needs to be done, but that's why I'm starting now, so. Yeah.
Anything else, town manager?
Nope, those are my couple items, thank you.
Selectmen items.
I don't have any issues this week.
Nothing. Phil? Sign warrants.
Yeah, there's no flag is up there.
Do they have their stop signs going on?
No, not on number 6. Yeah. So you gotta have somebody. I mean, it's basically, I could barely get my truck around it. Just for somebody's safety, I mean. They should have some flaggers up there.
I'll let the town,
It is part of the contract.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because I mean, it's right on the corner, and I'm like, holy shit, that ain't good. You know, yeah, they don't have it.
These are the two policies.
They got people standing there, but nobody's gonna stop or a slow sign, nothing, you know? So it's, actually, there was a guy and a girl working at the one I went by, and she stepped out now, almost said, you know, it's like, wait a minute, you can't, you know, there's not enough room, so, you know, those roads are narrow anyway. Just something I wanted to bring up to you, so somebody could get run over, we don't need that.
Nope.
Right, take care.
I know.
Can I ask a question on the agenda? What is the Microsoft Teams meeting? What is it?
That's for
For Phil. And when we have a selectman that tunes in that way, we can.
Oh, okay, I just, it was on the last one, and I meant to ask, and I don't know. I don't know exactly how long they're on. Three that have already gone out of business, one 20 out of. I mean, they're reducing themselves.
Yeah, yes.
So I think that's what, all free enterprise.
Motion to sign warrants 145, 146, and 225.
Second.
All in favor? Vote.
Make a motion to go into executive session. So then, they Title 1, Chapter 13, Section 4, 5, 6.
What's up?
Good night, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.